Hello everybody, one more video I'll do today, and it's on this Dr. Shiva who ran for U.S. Senate. He was thrown off Twitter and he's going in for his own lawsuit. He can't win. He's going off, and I have a lot of people following that too, and he blames the U.S. government. He says they have some out to get him. Twitter threw him off because of this, that, and the government censoring him. But the reality is, when you make false allegations in this world, not only that, when you go against the UNSC, again, the binding five, when you breach the law of sovereignty, especially in one of the P5 countries, you're in trouble. And absolutely, they can mandate Facebook and Twitter. Absolutely. This is not the work of the U.S. government. In a way, it is technically, because they're one of the P5. But when you claim election fraud or you claim something against the United States of America on a world platform, expect to deal with the UNSC and expect to see Twitter, Facebook, and any other platform suspending you by their ruling. Individually, any one of the five, or all five, or any combination of the five. And there is nothing you or any group or organization or government can do about it in this world. That is the truth. This Dr. Shiva made a massive false allegation. I'm telling you all right now, nobody did as much work on this as I did, as I read every case. I never read Dr. Shiva's case. You know why I didn't? I don't have to. I read Trump's. I looked at all the exhibits, not the allegation. Canadians, Americans, everybody. You can be angry. You can be angry at the world. You're looking at a guy who sued the Queen. And it never went to the Queen, of course. It went to the finance minister of the time, for Justin Trudeau. I had him served. I had him pulled out of Parliament because we don't have a Queen running Canada. I proved that a number of years ago. Already 4 years ago now. I proved the Queen of England doesn't get the communication. You can sue in Canada. You can sue the Queen of England, but it never goes to her. It goes to Prime Minister because he is Her Majesty. I put together my case. It was tossed out because of our Governor General. Do you know what I didn't do? Unlike Dr. Shiva, unlike Donald Trump, and I hate to say this, everybody, I provided a mile of exhibits. When you go to court, you present a case, you make an allegation, you file an affidavit, you write up your allegation, all of the wrongs you claim the party to your suit or to your charges. You write up an allegation of what you say they did. And then everybody, you absolutely have to back it up with exhibits. Whether it's the United States of America or Canada or many other democratic nations that have common law, which is the law of precedent and also the law system, you know you have to provide exhibits, meaning the evidence of your allegation to back up your allegation. No lawyer will take your case without absolute exhibits. If you can't provide exhibits and the other side provides exhibits dispelling your allegation, you are in serious trouble. Your case is in the garbage. Ask any lawyer you want, pick up the phone right now and say, would you represent me on my allegation if I have zero exhibits? Meaning you can't present a case. And every law firm you call in Canada or the United States will say, no, we will absolutely not, because the bar says they are to provide the exhibits. No lawyer makes a false allegation knowing there's no exhibits. I'm sorry this reality upsets a lot of people. Dr. Shiva is full of BS. He was thrown off Twitter because he made a false allegation against the United States of America, a P5 member state of the UN, a binding law international, one of five. One of five. They do it individually or all together. That's how it works. That's how it works. You can't go against those nations in any false allegation. Through the UNSC, they can absolutely mandate Twitter. They can execute people in this world. Look it up. I know this to people go, what? It's real. You can look it up. You can Google search. You can look at all five nations and all the people in the world they've executed. It's not murder. It's not whatever you want to look at it, or other countries cry in their soup. The reality is those countries individually can execute people at that level, any level they want. It starts with trade embargoes, sanctions, and they do it, trust me, against lawyers, all kinds of people. They just did it to the ICC prosecutor, last one, who's resigned here for June. She's finished. She has her last court case, and she's done. Now, Biden removed that, but Donald Trump put sanctions on her. Nobody goes after the United States of America. And again, any kind of case you want to go at, when you go against one of the P5 governments, you best have absolute exhibits. And when you have none, look out. You're going to get crushed. You're going to get crushed. It's like an allegation of rape. If you make an allegation for rape, you have to have evidence to support that. Otherwise, in this world, you would have all kinds of people being convicted of crimes they didn't commit. Why would we want to be in a world like that? People talk about common law all the time, but yet there's precedent for this. Anyone who knows anything about law in any common country, the common law countries, all the way back to Rome, anyone who knows the system knows you present a case, you make an allegation, you back it up with exhibits. If you can't do that, you don't file any kind of suit or any kind of charges unless you wish to be liable for lying. That's reality. Donald Trump, unfortunately, went too far. He didn't have the exhibits. I read every case. That's what I do. Canadians, Americans. I've read every case. He didn't provide any exhibits. His law firms turned on him, left him. The ones that remained who were loyal to him are left holding the bag. They're liable. Donald Trump isn't a lawyer. The lawyers are lawyers. They're law firms. They're liable, and you're seeing that. They're getting sued now. When you look at the original cases and you look at the actual exhibits supplied to the courts and why those cases were tossed out, because it was the other side that brought the exhibits showing the actual data, the actual evidence. Those law firms, those lawyers are liable for making such a gross allegation with zero exhibits. And everybody says, oh, they wouldn't give them access, they couldn't get the exhibits. They didn't hire any investigators. They didn't even bother. They filed an allegation, tricked a bunch of law firms who fell for it out of loyalty, and this Dr. Shiva never provided a single exhibit, and he cries in his soup saying, I'm MIT, I don't know the law. Well, what are you filing any kind of suit or any kind of campaign of injustice and tearing apart a nation and condemning its constitution when you breached the constitution of said nation? And then you wonder why you're thrown off Twitter, which, so everybody knows, because I use Twitter actually as Twitter's supposed to be used. I use it as it is, the greatest communication tool in the entire world. The great vast amount and quickly to all the world experts I wanted in this world was done through Twitter. Through Twitter. When I wanted to move a world power, I used Twitter. The Canadian media made fun of me. They called me a Trump supporter of the time on my old account. What they didn't understand was how I was applying Twitter as it's supposed to be used. A strong, powerful communication tool, the greatest communication tool in the entire world. I can get to any world leader I want to. I can get to any stage in the world I want to. I can get to any organization in the world I want to through Twitter. That's how I found all the world experts I've found. That's how I've been on the world stage. 2 solid years of it, full time. You look at my followers, I hardly have any, a few hundred. When you start to look at the world followers, you go, holy, there's a bunch of people with tremendous followings following this guy. There's world leaders of the time or people who held seats in world power following me. Why are they following a guy in a truck? Would it be possibly because I'm on the world stage? I'm in institutions all the time, generally on a weekly basis. I'm going through it this week. I have 3 of Canada's top universities. I have to write to them now. I've been invited to write an article for 3 of our top universities in Canada. Why do you suppose that is? How does that happen? Is it because I'm a loser in a truck? Or is it because I'm on the world stage and everything I tell all of you is absolute truth? As I do with the world experts, people can agree to disagree, they can do all that, but at the end of the day, it's what you can back up in real historical fact. It's what you can back up in real world international law as it really is, when you can come forward and say, here's 12 cases. Here is this side, here's that side, here's the exhibits for that side, here's absolutely none for the other. This guy is 100% fraud. Here's the evidence. Who do you blame now, right? Who do you blame now? Now, USA has no juristocracy. That word a lot of people have heard. That's when the court has more power. The justices have more power than the government. In fact, they're independent of, and they can make the law apply as they see fit. That's bad too. In Canada, we don't have juristocracy. USA has a perfect justice system. It's the best one I've seen in the world. I don't see any juristocracy in the United States of America. In fact, you can look at my Facebook. I predicted the Supreme Court judgment almost to a T before it was rendered. I beat all the media. I released it. I got a tremendous, over 1,100 I hate yous on Facebook. Tremendous amount of people left my Facebook. That's okay. The waves built it all back. People come back because the reality was I was 100% correct. I can predict U.S. legal cases just by reading everything presented in the common law, and I can rely on the judges to make a judgment based on absolute law, easily predictable. Canada, no way. Why? We're not juristocracy. We're an old king's court attached to colonialism. The Governor General through Prime Minister for our Supreme Court can override all Supreme Court justices. At the provincial level, Lieutenant Governor can override all our Superior Court justices. Superior Court, highest court of the provinces. Supreme Court, highest court of Canada. I can't predict my country's legal cases because it's on the whim of whatever Prime Minister you've elected decides to allow the justices to rule on. He does that through Governor General for the Supreme Court of Canada. It's been done many, many times, not by just this Prime Minister, every Prime Minister we've ever elected. Welcome to Canada, King's Court, an illegal crown colonial system. That's how Canada works. Impossible to predict court cases. Law of precedent? Ha ha ha. Law of precedent of Governor General, Lieutenant Governor, and whatever Prime Minister you have at the time. Just like our laws, they change frequently whenever the whim of the politician deems necessary. Majority, minority, doesn't matter. They can use crown power to usurp your system. That's not the USA, not even close. The USA Constitution restricts corrupt politicians, absolutely. So when you see them getting booted out, you got a problematic person. And what's problematic is when I can tell you, I read the cases. I don't have to read Dr. Shiva's case. He's lying. Sorry. He doesn't have the exhibits to back up his claim. The other side provided all the exhibits that state the actual facts. I know this because Donald Trump went to court on the same case. Tossed out. Why? Because no lawyer could provide a single exhibit from that side. The lawyers on the other side provided all the exhibits, which proved beyond any doubt it was fabricated, a fabricated allegation. You can be sued for making false allegations in a court of law, both in the United States and in Canada. I shouldn't say that for Canada. If the Governor General allows it. If the Lieutenant Governor allows it for Canada. Not the same in Russia and the United States. That's my video. Sorry, everybody, if you're following that Dr. Shiva. Sorry, what do we want me to say? He has 0 exhibits. He never did. And in fact, the other side had all the exhibits that dispelled entirely his false allegation. Just like someone who claims they were raped with 0 evidence. 0 evidence. And in fact, the other side, the defense, provides all the exhibits in the world to prove that that's a false allegation. That person should be in jail for that. That person should be sued for something like that. Do you all agree? Otherwise, I could say, oh, I witnessed any one of you murder somebody. Oh, where's the body? Where's the murder weapon? You can't even prove that person was there. But it's an allegation. I do it to destroy your life. Even though you weren't even in the area. There's no murder weapon, no body, but I swear I saw it. And that person can provide all the exhibits, and they clearly do. They file back, they answer the court, I make the allegation with no exhibits, somebody files, and then the other side provides all the exhibits. I'm sorry, at such and such date, here's a video. I'm at a wedding in a whole nother country, overseas. I wasn't even there at the time of alleged allegation. That's an exhibit. That's real. Then there's witnesses and other exhibits to testify. What do you want a court to rule? It's clearly a false allegation. And you wonder why you got suspended from Twitter when you accused the United States of America of tampering with the election. That's what you did. Then you quote the Constitution, which in the United States, the Constitution upheld the law and the judges did the right thing. And then you accuse them of fraud. I'm sorry. 1 million votes, eh? That's not what the exhibits say, and that's not what was provided in evidence. You had 0 evidence to prove your allegation. Completely 100% false. You're lucky you're just suspended from Twitter, from the world stage, from being able to spread your propaganda, which comes back to you telling everybody the United States is corrupt. I have to question, with 0 exhibits, you're just another one of those false allegation people. Why are you doing that? Who do you really work for? Careful friends and followers. I give this to you because I care about Canadians. I care even about Americans. Don't get usurped, especially in the United States. Strongest, one of the strongest and oldest institutions in the world in democracy and constitutionalism. Don't let foreign influences destroy you. Don't let this happen to America. And it won't. The Constitution is holding up as it is written, as it's supposed to. You, the people in America, are protected. You are protected by we, the people, by your justice system. They function independent of government. It's beautiful. I predicted it. I looked at it. And I'm telling you, someone who lives in a country from colonialism in King's Court today, which there are only a few left in all the world, and I live in one, in King's Court. And you don't even suffer aristocracy. You have a perfect justice system and a perfect constitution in that respect that at least protects the people even from themselves and does justice. USA has its problems, don't get me wrong. As I said, it's an old institution. Sure, it could use upgrades, but it's still far better than being a juristocracy, which, look at South America, a lot of those countries, third world countries, or a King's Court like Canada. You don't want to be in any of those. Trust me. I live in one. It's brutal. Thanks, that's my video. You can all look it up yourself, read the court cases. Remember what I said, allegation versus exhibits. Right now, my case for ICC, I have all the exhibits in the world. My issue is crafting the allegation properly in complete legal speak, which I'm working at. I don't rush things. Unlike the rest of the fanatics, I don't go for celebrity status or go, to get everybody following you. You want to do something, you want to do it right the first time. And with this case, going to the actual court of the world, the only court, ICC, International Criminal Court. The rest are voluntary or tribunals that your country has to voluntarily accept. They never will. Who would? You're going to go after your government? Good luck. In a voluntary or administered by your government, you got to be some silly lacking all kinds of common sense. But all kinds of lawyers around the world champion this stuff, and all of you just throw the money into it, throw all the money in the world, and you never get anywhere. First Nations have never gotten anywhere. Ontario human rights. International Court of Justice, again voluntary. There is only one, and there is only one power in this world. UNSC P5. That's the only power of this world. Look it up. They're in charge, absolutely, of all international law, all peace and security, and run all of the organs ultimately. Individually, they can play around. Together, they bind absolute. Learn the difference. General Assembly, one of the 6 organs. Last organ, which is all the UN states of the world, allowed to come up with all the ideas they want to, full democracy. But at the end of the day, if the 5 don't all come together and vote it through, it don't go. It's reverted to non-binding. That's called the veto. And at that point, why would your nation sign on to something that isn't bound in international law? Unless their only aim is to take away from you, the people. USA's Constitution forbids the USA from taking from we, the people. That's why they never bind any of these radical agendas. Doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, they can't squeeze it through unless they can make America first. They have to justify it. Not for Canada. Canada is all about the politician. Absolutely divinity of the politician. You, the people, don't exist. First Peoples don't exist. We can keep going through this forever and ever. Learn the reality of your justice system. America's justice system works at that level a heck of a lot better than most nations in the world. Are there all kinds of atrocities too and people getting railroaded? Sure, that's always going to happen. It's always going to be there. Nothing in life is perfect, but there's levels of better than other systems. And Canada is one of the worst systems. That's the truth. Dr. Shiva is a fraud. That's why he's booted, and he'll continue to go down the toilet. He even admits, I'm not a lawyer. No lawyer will represent me. Well, of course, you have no exhibits because you're making a false allegation. The lawyers are liable for your absolute false allegation. You keep stating 1 million electronic votes conspiracy, which it is because you haven't provided an exhibit. The other side provided the exhibits to prove you're lying. Why would you lie to Americans? Why would you lie to the world? You didn't think a UNSC member, which United States is, wasn't going to hamstring you? Do you think the US is going to allow you to destroy, discredit their nation on the world stage or attack their constitution or their democracy? Where are your exhibits? You don't have any. You never did. Neither did Trump. I'm sorry. I hate that to say that. I loved Trump all the way up to November, and then he went off the beaten path. And I can show you all kinds of things he did on the world stage between November to February that breached the Constitution of the United States of America, meaning piss on my country, because maybe he was angry. That's what he did. Whether people like that or not, I just tell the truth. You think I like that? You can look. Loyal Trump guy for more years than most Americans. 8 years, in fact. Started with Donald Trump way in the back. Did he do a tremendous amount of great things? Sure he did. Look at USMCA. He put freedom of association there. There are tons of great things Trump did during his time as President of the United States. I think a lot of that had to do with the administration he had and the absolute constitution that regulated him in the United States of America. No doubt he loved America. Maybe it all got to be too much by the end. His rage against the left took over. The administration had dissipated from him. The checks and balances weren't there as he was losing his power, and he went off the rails. That's what happened. Sorry, I don't know what else to tell you. He even burnt me. My loyal followers will tell you what he did to me at Christmas. After all that, Kelly Knight Craft following me, a friend. She's on my Facebook, we're friends. What do you want me to say? His world stage rep. We're friends. I wrote her many times as I shared to all of you, my loyalist of followers. It's all true. It's all true. Not much more to say. And people can dismiss all this, but why would any of these people be my friend or following me or entertaining me on any world stage for the last 2 years, let alone the last 4? Why would they be? Because I'm in a truck? Because I work in the trades? Because, why? Because probably, I know what I'm talking about. Probably I understand the world as it really is, and I understand international law, and I get it right. Whether that's popular or not. And they talk about populism. Populist leaders who get the masses to follow absolute lies. What kind of leader lies to his people? For what benefit is that? Never, ever is it a good idea to lie. Never. It's never, ever a good idea to mislead the masses, no matter in what intention that is. If you can't tell the people the truth absolutely all the time, you have no business in any political party whatsoever. And unfortunately, a lot of politicians make a career of lying. Canada, this is a way to do business. How good you can lie to the people. Learn to lie. Can't even sit there and run a video. Can't even communicate naturally from the heart. Have to and an earbud in, and someone's feeding them to help them. Like, oh, don't forget you have to say this, and remember this lie you told. Because as lies mount, it gets harder and harder for these people to face it. I never lie. Very easy for me to go through anything, take my lumps. I don't even care when following falls off, because it's the institution you wish to build and its integrity. That's what I'm doing. It's not about me. It never has been. It's about all of you. Thank you. That's my video today. and friends, followers. You got to start looking at things as they are, not as people tell you. Because I could have a green room, put up a big library, I could wear a fancy suit and tie. I could sit there every day as a complete liar, pretend I'm some doctor on a level, blah, 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 blah. You'd watch, probably my Twitter would go up. I would lose all the experts. I would lose all the world-credited people that do follow me, do exchange and teach me so much, and share so much rich, high-knowledge information that I would never get unless I go out to get it on my own, but that would take many, many more years than I have left in me. Instead, I get fast-tracked because I absorb what they give me and I tell the truth. People like to share when you tell the truth. I don't have to worry about this guy. This guy will go out there no matter what people say, and he'll tell the truth as it really is. People are a lot more likely to share, include you, invite you when they know this guy's never going to lie. He's always going to present it as it is. I can rest easy knowing this knowledge was shared, wasn't misconstrued, transformed, half-lies, half-truths, or taken out of constant and then put into a lie, which many groups, organizations, political parties absolutely do. And then there's the populism. That's what people think is what's great in this world, and it's wrong. It's all wrong. It's what Canadians embrace more than anything. More and more Americans grow towards it. And the academic community addresses that. They say populism is the wrong thing. How do we address it? How do we put that in the Constitution? That's the next looking amendment in the United States. Of course, Canada will never see any of that. We can't even get rid of colonialism. It's that bad. It's that bad, people. So America, you're the best example there is, bar none. Russia isn't so bad either, even with the one-party system. China, as bad as it is, isn't even as bad as Canada. I wouldn't want that system, but it isn't even as bad as Canada. Canadians don't realize, oh no, that's not true. You're going down. Soon China's going to overtake you. Soon they're going to overtake you. Many countries are. Many countries are changing. You're not. And you're going down. Everybody else is going up. Eventually, Iran went through this. Do you know Iran used to be a beautiful country? Happy, democratic. They went through from post-World War II, and then they were hijacked. I'm just getting pounded now. Everybody wants to talk. It's hard. Thanks, everybody. Share. Tags. I'm getting phone calls. Just won't quit. Okay, bye now.